Alright, we are in our back seat. So we're gonna try to put our basket in. There are a few tabs. I believe it's, let me see, I believe it's 4 tabs. 3 or 4 tabs, you can see them. One right there, one right here, and it's another one somewhere. I believe it's right there, but those were the slots going. So on our pump, it goes into the slots, slides right on. I got this tool. It is it's a removal tool for the fuel basket. Makes things a lot easier. So okay, it sits on the top just like that. Holds it in, and all you gotta do is twist and turn clockwise to tighten it. And once I hear that click, that clicking sound, that means it's in place. So let's go ahead and try to put the basket in, try to line everything up, hook up my sensors, and I should be in the game. Alright, we got it in. Pretty much I move I believe this is the hose for the fuel return. I move that out the way, basically push it to the side, and I just fit this in. This black hose, these hoses are gonna be in the way as well. So while you put it in there, kind of push it down a little bit, move it to the side, and it will eventually slide down in there. So now I have to line up my three clips. Just have to put it in there properly in the basket. Find a way to line it up and get my tool, put my tool in there and tighten it. It's pretty simple. Let me try to figure out a way to line it up. Okay. I couldn't really film the install because it was it's a tight fit, but I know for a fact some people took several hours just to fit it correctly. But my best advice to reinstall on the basket, it can be a pain in the ass, but make a mark on this basket onto this basket. That way you will know where exactly it fits, because remember, there's a few slots. I believe it's either 3 or 4, and it goes in one way. So once you keep you know where you need to be, because when you keep turning it, it will actually kind of slot in. Push it down a little bit to make sure it's seated in properly, and then you turn clockwise, and it will clock in perfectly. Fuel level sensor is this one right here, so I have it right here. Okay. Fuel level sensor is back on, and now for the return, it's gonna this right here. This is gonna slot on, go back on this, so I'm gonna fit that back on. There we go. Let me double check to make sure everything is hooked up. Fuel level sensor, power feed for that, my hose. Okay, all right. Should have put my O-ring back in first, but it goes around this thing right here, so I gotta stretch this back over it. All right, so I got my gasket. All right, gasket is around there. This is on here. And for this last piece, just like that. This is as far as I can hand tighten it, so I don't have this special tool for it that kind of locks on it and tighten it or loosen it. But I'm gonna use a screwdriver and knock it this way to put it back where it was. So, as you can see, let me get up real quick. This is under the seat. This is the wire that's coming out of this that goes to your sensor. So that's what we're gonna tap into. So we're gonna peel this back. We're gonna peel this part back, try to get inside of it without mushing up the wires, and we're gonna use bigger wires to wire up what we need to. Got some heat shrinks as well, and we got our relay, and most importantly, connectors. So I believe I found a solid ground. This right here. I'll try to remove this. Okay, so I'm gonna, first off, I'm gonna vacuum all this crap, but I'm gonna sand this down. You can see it's just a stud that's sticking up, but that couldn't be a solid ground. So I'm gonna actually ground my my relay. My relay has a ground, so I'm gonna ground my relay to that, and I'm gonna ground my fuel pump to that. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I used my knife and peeled it back to expose the wires. So what are we looking at? The thickest brown wire, which is in the left side, is the ground for the fuel pump. This is the power. The power line is supposed to read 12V. The purple and black is the fuel level sensor, which is 12V as well. And this is the thin brown wire is the ground for the fuel level sensor. So we won't be messing with these two, but we're gonna be slicing these two and hooking up our new line. All right, so I got my lines cut. I got yellow, black, and red. Red is gonna be for the battery. The yellow is gonna be the power going towards the positive fuel pump wire. And black is gonna be my ground coming from the fuel pump. Positive for the fuel pump is connected. Let's shrink this tube. All right, so I got my positive feed line hooked up. Got an 86. Hooks up to my power line for the fuel pump on the OEM harness. So that's all connected. My wires. So that's connected. I'm gonna run my positive feed for the battery, my 12V source from the battery, and hook it up to that. So all right, so that positive line is coming from the battery, and I got it, which I got slotted in number 30, and then 87 is positive feed for the pump. I'm gonna get my ground situated. The ground is gonna be number 86. So I'm gonna get my black line, run my I'm gonna run my negative, slap it on this stud right here. I pretty much got everything wired up. I removed one of the bolts for this thing right here, so I can easily mount it. So I can easily mount and screw right on top of it, so it's gonna be solid. But to summarize what I did, the yellow wire is the positive for the fuel pump that's coming out of my ECU wires, my plug wires. So And that's that. And red is going towards my battery. And I found a smaller wire, positive, which is 85 for my ECU. That way when I turn the car on, it signals the pump to turn on and off. So that's how I have that wired. And I got my ground cut off so I can get a solid ground, more of a solid ground right here. I found a stud, so I got my relay ground to that, and my ground for my fuel pump is also connected to that. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward, not too crazy, but that's how I have a relay added to my fuel pump, which is getting better juice from my battery. So I'm gonna start my car and see if I hear the fuel pump cut on. If it cuts on, that's good news. That means I have everything wired up correctly, and that's that. So next video, pretty much gonna show you how I relocated my battery to the back. I know some of you asked me, you know, how I did that, so pretty much gonna do an overview on that. I'll see you guys in the next one.